Hey there y'all, it's Megan. If you're returning to my channel, welcome back, and if you're new, welcome aboard. So today is going to be one of those non-Disney days that I mentioned a few videos back. I'm going to talk today about what it was like growing up in a military family. That was something that I'd never had, like a YouTube channel that I could go and watch and see, like, are other people feeling the same way as I am about this? So if you are currently a military kid, if you are a former military kid, and you need someone to vent, totally let me know, because we all kind of deal with the same things. And if you are not part of a military family and you're just kind of curious about what it was like to grow up as an Air Force brat or Army brat or whatever, then that's what I'm talking about today. My dad was in the Air Force, I've mentioned that before, so I grew up as an Air Force brat. And so hey to all Air Force, military in general kids, I see you, and y'all are the real MVPs, and I say that from experience, because being the kid in a military family, I think is very difficult, and in some situations I think probably even more difficult than actually being the military personnel. And so that's kind of what I'm going to talk about today, is the difficulties of being part of a military family. We actually did not move all that much. I was born in Florida, and I lived there until I was 2, so I remember absolutely nothing about it, unfortunately. And then we moved to Georgia, then we moved to Alabama. We spent quite a bit of time in Alabama, so that, I like to say, is where my accent is from. That's like kind of my home area is Alabama. And then we moved to Hawaii. Yes, I know, hence my seat covers and all my floral, my Hawaii stuff. Yeah, it was pretty awesome. I can talk about that some other time too. Then we moved to California, and then I moved away to where I live now, right at the start of high school. So I didn't move all that many times. We moved every like 3-ish years average, which is kind of normal. Most people move every 2 to 3 years. Some places we were there longer, some places we were there shorter, but that's generally how often we moved. And yeah, the moving, it's kind of twofold. I look at it now as an adult. I guess I have to consider myself an adult, but I still am 14 at heart. I can look at it and say, wow, we really got to experience a lot of amazing things because of Dad's job. The military is more diverse than you think. Everyone is kind of thrown together when you are in the military, because you're stationed on bases usually, and you kind of live and work and go to school with all these people. So from a very early age, I was exposed to people of different cultures, different religions, different backgrounds, and I was taught and I learned that everyone was the same, and we were all friends, and I got along with everyone, and there was no reason to be mean or judgmental of people who had anything going on that was different. So I appreciate the fact that the military kind of gave me a broadened horizon. Let's talk about the rough part of being a military kid. And if you are also a military child and you wonder if everyone deals with this, they do. I don't think I'm alone, and I don't think you're alone. When you move, it's kind of terrible. Now I can say that I appreciated it. At the time, I didn't appreciate it at all. Not even a little bit. I used to yell and scream and cry and be like, I didn't choose the military. You picked to go in the Air Force. Why am I the one who's having my life ruined? Because, you know, angsty 14. And that was, why did my parents keep me? I don't know. But when I was younger, obviously the moving didn't bother me as much. Moving from Florida to Georgia, Georgia to Alabama, I was little. I didn't know. I didn't have a whole bunch of friends. I hadn't gone to school. None of that really mattered. But as I got older, the moves got progressively harder. I remember moving from Alabama to Hawaii, and yeah, going to Hawaii kind of took the sting off of it. But still, I remember as we were emptying out our house, sitting in my empty bedroom, looking around thinking, wow, I'm never gonna sleep here again. And I'm never going to see these friends again, probably. Because this was back in the day. This was before cell phones and texting and Facebook and MySpace and anything. So that wasn't, I just assumed when I walk out of school and we go and get on the plane to go to move, that's the last time I'm seeing these people. And I just kind of assumed that was how it was going to be. And luckily through technology, I have, you know, reconnected with some of those old friends. But then you move and you make new friends. And I think as a young child, that's a lot easier, because moving from Hawaii to California, I was almost 13. So I had just finished 6th grade. I was going into a new middle school. I was that wonderful, wonderful age where I didn't like myself or anybody else. You could not make me be friendly. So moving to a new state, away from Hawaii, away from the friends that I'd been with for 3 years, I was pretty upset, and I couldn't understand why my parents were acting like life was going to go on, because to me life was over. Like it was not going on. I was just going to be sad and miss my friends for the rest of time. I'm never going to meet anyone else that is nearly as good of friends as these people are, and I'm never going to have a good time again. But I did. Moved to California, started middle school, found a group of people. It was not easy. I'm not gonna lie and say that I walked in and on the first day automatically I had some friends. That's not the case. In fact, I remember distinctly the very first day of 7th grade, because I was not at a military school. There were some military kids there because we were near a military base, but we were not on the military base. So everyone was not military. So I remember the first day I was sitting by myself at lunch, as you do, and someone walked up to me and she was like, "So, does it suck to be the new girl and have everyone hate you all the time?" Yep, someone said that to me. And I didn't really know how to respond, because I had never thought, like, oh, people don't like the new kid? I've always been the new kid. So I've never known what it was like to see the new kid come in and be like, who is this person who is coming in and trying to jack up all of our groups and try to ease her way in? So that was kind of eye-opening to me, to be like, oh, I am the parasite that's trying to suck life out of these different groups and try to weasel my way in. And so that stuck with me, obviously, for a while, because it's been 14 years and I still remember it. And it made me sad, because I was like, no one wants to hang out with me, and I'm not gonna have any friends, and what am I gonna do? But things got better, because I was just like, you know what, fine, if I'm gonna be alone, I'm gonna be alone. And then when I stopped freaking out about it and being like, I have to make everyone like me, people started, I started making friends. You work with people in groups, in group projects, in classes, you sit next to people, you know, whatever. And eventually I had a little group of people like me who were kind of nerds. We were nerdy. There's no other way to say it. And we started hanging out. And that is where I met Cameron. So he was one of our nerd herd, and we became good friends in 7th grade. So things can get better, and you don't always have to be the new kid and everyone hates you. You can be the new kid for a little while. If you are an outgoing person, that'll work for you to find friends. I was not an outgoing person. I was a very shy person, and I just kind of hung back and waited until people noticed me and were like, hey, let's talk to the quiet girl sitting over here by herself. And that always worked for me. So go with what your personality is. Don't try to be something, if you're not a social butterfly, you probably don't want to hang out with the people who are, because then you're going to feel awkward all the time. So don't try to pretend like, I'm one of these people who likes to talk to everyone and I like to just be bubbly and I'm going to go over here and I'm going to go over here. That's not you. You don't want to hang out with them. You're going to be stressed. So wait until you can find some people who have similar interests, people who think like you do. If you join clubs, then you can be around people who are interested in the same things as you, and you can kind of find friends that way. And I think that's, one of the best things you can do. That was what I had to do when I moved again after California. And, moving before high school, that's a fun time. You're going into high school, starting off as a freshman, that's going to be kind of weird anyway. Now go into it not knowing anyone. I literally showed up to my first day of high school not knowing a single human being in the state. So that was interesting, but I just kind of did the same thing that I did in California. I cried a lot, not at school, at home. I cried a lot. I drank a lot of Diet Dr. Pepper and ate a lot of Flaming Hot Cheetos in my room, and messaged on MySpace a lot, because that was what we did back in the day. But I also just kind of looked for people that I thought would have similar interests to me. I hung out with the people who were nerds again, and I found a group of people that I kind of clicked with, and I had some friends finally, and I went through high school with that same group of friends, and I actually went to college and roomed with some of those friends. So you never know what it's going to be like to move and start over all the time until you've done it. And now I absolutely cannot imagine staying in one place for the rest of my life. When people talk about, oh, what's gonna be your forever home, I'm like, I gotta stay in one place forever. I can't do that. I have to move. I like moving now, because now I'm an adult and I'm not having to switch schools and do all of that jazz. Now it's just like, I can appreciate the adventure of it and getting to go and do new stuff, see new places, experience new things. That's the part that I like. And so if you are a military kid right now and you are thinking, I'm never going to want to move, this is never going to be something that I want to do, it's just not, you might change your mind, you might not, and that's perfectly normal. That's awesome. If your military parent retires, or whatever, and you are no longer moving around, maybe you will stay where you're at and you will love it, and that's awesome. But if you don't feel that way, it's not weird. A lot of us think the same way. We're like, yeah, we're never gonna like to do that. It's kind of like you say, I'm never gonna say XYZ or whatever, I'm not gonna turn into my mom. You will, and it's okay. So that's kind of what it's like to be moving around a lot. Like I said, if you are a military kid right now, if you have been, let me know if your situation is similar. If you are not part of a military family and you're just here to see what it was like, hey, how's it going? Thanks for stopping by. We appreciate you. So, yeah. If you have questions about anything else about the military kid lifestyle, or if you want me to talk about something in particular that you are dealing with, then for sure, leave me a comment down there and I'll make more videos about it in the future. I hope this is, I know it's super rambly and random and probably doesn't mean anything to a lot of people, but if it does help you, I'm very glad. And just know that you are not alone in your struggle. There's a lot of military kids out there who all feel the same way, but we'll all get through it. And if you are a military kid, thank you so much for your parents' service, and thank you for your service as the kid and going along with the family and being supportive. I know the parents really appreciate it. So that's it for today. If you have suggestions, questions, comments, whatever, let me know, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, y'all.